This is MC Tone from the 757 Spin Number the Truth, back to y'all with another video. And today it's the Los Angeles Rams, man. A double video, man. It's for both of the Los Angeles teams, man. The Los Angeles Rams, man, of course, a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover. They what you call it? They went 9-7, didn't make the playoffs. You know, there was a couple of winnable games for them, man. Especially that one of the Seahawks game where, hey, one of the best kickers in the league at one point, Greg the Leg, missed the field goal at the end of the game, man. They could have won 10-6, and you never know, could have snuck into the playoffs, man. But definitely, just everything just didn't seem right. Todd Gurley, we still don't know what's wrong with him, man. Was the knee injury really that bad as people say? Was it arthritic knee? So we don't really know, man. It would just seem like it was a chemistry. It just seemed like everything just needed to be renewed. You know what I'm saying? They let go Wade Phillips to me. I think the defense sometimes, even in the Sean McVay era, they definitely sometimes struggled in terms of just consistently stopping people. I guess when you have a high-powered offense, because if you remember, the Rams were terrible for years. Before Sean McVay arrived, there was 2-14 seasons. There were 4-12 seasons. Man, never could find a quarterback situation right. The only player I remember we did have at one point was a Steven Jackson, man, who was a Pro Bowl caliber, consistent Pro Bowl caliber player, man. He's actually the Rams' all-time leading rusher. But ever since Sean McVay has came in, he's made the playoffs except for last year, man. And like I said, it was a Super Bowl hangover, sadly. They struggled offensively. Just the offense didn't click at all times, man. And I think that has to do with the run game, man. Hey, we talk about Sean McVay like we talk about John Gruden. We think that they do so much for these quarterbacks, which they do, but they really run their offense through the run game to set up the play action. So, you know, not having that in a consistent basis with a healthy Todd Gurley kind of really hurt them to me, man. But let me get on with the video. The Los Angeles Rams, their head coach Sean McVay, man. They let go of Wade Phillips, like I said, man, for Brandon Staley, who's 37 himself. So you got two young offensive head coach, and you got one young defensive head coach, man, and gave him some opportunity, man. And so hopefully he can change things around. Their draft picks is in the second round. You got running back Cam Akers out of Florida State. I think he's going to be running back by committee. You got Malcolm Brown, you got Darrell Henderson, and you got Cam Akers, man. And I'm going to be excited to see what Cam Akers can do in Darrell Henderson and Malcolm Brown. Malcolm Brown being the veteran in that running backs room. So let's see what they can do. Can they replace the I don't know if they can exactly do what Todd Gurley did, but hopefully they can make up the production for what he does. Second round pick was wide receiver Van Jefferson, man. I really love that pick, man. Van Jefferson, he's a clean route runner. He could be the Cooper Kupp of this draft. You know, remember Cooper Kupp was a third round pick, and he was solid, man. So hopefully he's going to be a draft pick that's under the radar. Third round pick linebacker Terrell Lewis, definitely need that. Fourth round tight end Bryce Hopkins. Second round Jordan Fuller. Sixth round Jordan Fuller. Seventh round Clay Johnson. Seventh round kicker Sam Salam. We let go Greg the Leg, man. Greg Zuerlein, man. It was just, I guess it was time to move on from him. Even though I liked him, man, he was one of the best kickers in the league. And you got seventh round guard Tremaine Archroom. Some key free agent signings: Leonard Floyd, outside linebacker from the Bears, man. I like this pick, man. Think about who we had, Dante Fowler, man. Remember when he was from the Jaguars and didn't really get a lot of production from him, came to us, boom. You know what I mean? He signed that big contract with the Atlanta Falcons. Maybe we can do the same thing with Leonard Floyd. Michael Brockers, man, we brought him back, even though he was going to sign with Baltimore. Failed the physical, came back with us. I'm glad we have him back. We definitely need him alongside Aaron Donald. Sean Robinson, I think he's hurt or he's out with personal reasons, so we don't know how long he's going to be out. Hopefully he gets well and feels better. Offensive plays, 9th. Time of possession, 30th. Points, 11th. yards 7th, passing yards 4th, passing touchdowns 19th, rushing yards 26th, rushing touchdowns 4th, over red zone touchdowns 2nd, overall touchdowns 11th. What do I think about the offense, man? I think the offense is pretty good. It definitely has a lot of talent. I know they traded Brandon Cooks, got rid of Todd Gurley. I guess it was time, man. I know Brandon Cooks struggled with the concussion issues. I think they do have a lot of depth at the wide receiver position. I like Josh Reynolds stepping into that position. I definitely seen glimpses and flashes from him. Not having a healthy Todd Gurley really hurt this team, especially during that Super Bowl run. Um, Jared Goff, to me, Jared Goff. One thing is so confusing about Jared Goff. He will have games where he would throw for over 400 yards, over 400 yards, man. And he has the talent to do it. And some days he would just look confused and rattled. You know what I mean? His feet starts to get a little happy when he's under pressure, and I think that's the book on him. Get him uneasy in the pocket, get him a little rattled, and watch what he starts doing, man. He starts throwing picks. He starts to have ugly feet, and I understand because he lost a couple of his quarterback coaches and coordinators, so I expect that, man. This coaching staff kind of been picked apart, man, to me, and it's just time to retool. Hopefully, Jared Goff gets a little better, and I think he's definitely worth the contract. I know people think, oh, why did they perhaps pay him so much? I think that contract is not going to look too bad in a couple of years, man, especially what these quarterbacks are getting paid for, especially with Patrick Mahomes. So, think about it. Jared Goff, during that Saints game, we won because of Jared Goff. He took us to the Super Bowl when we played against the Saints. I know everybody's going to talk about that call, but Jared Goff definitely did his part. He's definitely worth that contract. Just needs to get a little better. He needs a run game behind him for right now, but I think he's definitely going to improve. Defensive wise, point 17th, yards 13, passing yards 12, passing touchdowns 13, rushing yards 19, rushing touchdowns 21, red zone touchdowns 24, overall touchdowns 18, time possession 28. Sacks 5th and 12th from interceptions, man. I think that this defense definitely just needed a time. I think Brandon Staley, hopefully he would just have something new, man. The defense was never consistent. And that was weird because under the Jeff Fisher era, the defense played really well. But under the Sean McVay era, the defense has kind of been struggling. So I'm just wondering, can they just pick it up, especially when we got a defensive talent like Aaron Donald. We lost the Los Angeles Rams lost Corey Littleton to the leading tackler. So I'm wondering how they're going to replace those linebackers, man, because they're not deep at the linebacker core right now. Some key impact players. I think the Rams have a consistent wide receivers, man. Cooper Kupp, to me, is a very good wide receiver. Great route runner. Robert Woods, very consistent, great blocker. You got Josh Reynolds on the come up, and you got Van Jefferson. Andrew Whitworth, definitely solid at the tackle position. You have Rob Halfstein coming back from injury. You got Tyler Higbee, Jared Everett at the tight ends position. I wish Sean McVay would utilize the tight ends a little bit more, especially Gerald Everett. I think he can help in the passing game a lot. You got Aaron Donald, to me, in the defensive side of the ball. To me, he ranked number one among his peers for the number one spot for the best player in football. So Jalen Ramsey, to me, I don't know how I feel about Jalen Ramsey. He's a top 5 cornerback, but he was hurt last year, so hopefully he didn't have a great year, but he had a decent year. Definitely respectable. I think he's definitely one of the most feared cornerbacks. Let's see what he does, man. I think it's maturity with him, man, and just trying to step up and be a leader, man. He won it out of Jacksonville. Now it's time to prove that you're a leader and you have that talent and he has that talent to back it up. So hopefully, man, he just does what he does, play smart. Just be a leader, man. I think that's what comes down to with him. A boot camp. I think he can definitely he has potential, man. I love a boot camp. The outside linebacker, he can definitely pressure the quarterback off the edge. I like Taylor Rapp. He had a good rookie season. I like John Johnson, man. So hopefully those guys can improve off the season. And defense to me, we're not really deep, but I don't know how I feel about the Reds, man. You got the 49ers, who I know they lost a lot at the wide receiver position, and they're going through camp right now, so you never know. I think they still are one of the most feared defenses. You got the Seattle Seahawks, man, with Russell Wilson, and you got the Arizona Cardinals who are on the come up. So it's going to be interesting what this Rams team do. I think they're coached by a great head coach. This division is probably the hardest in the league right now, especially with San Francisco, who has a Jimmy Garoppolo, and got one of the best play callers also, and then Shanahan. So you never know with this division, man. Do I got the Rams finishing first? No, I don't. I actually still got the 49ers of the team to beat. Can they finish second? Yes, they can. I do think they can compete with the Seahawks for a playoff position or second in the division. It all just depends on how they do. I think their offensive line is still shaky. They didn't address that. They were injured. Most of the offensive line was injured last year, but they didn't address it in the draft, and they're just hopefully Andrew Whitworth, who's a little on the old side, and they don't got a first round pick for next year's draft. So it's gonna definitely be interesting where this team is headed in this direction if they don't achieve the playoffs, man. I don't think it's Sean McVay is gonna get fired. I think that would be foolish, but it's just interesting, man, with how they're gonna do and how they're gonna replace a lot of this talent in terms of the season, man, because they don't really have a lot of depth right now because of the cap that they are in. So just let me know your thoughts and your comments about the Los Angeles Rams, man. I think they definitely have potential. They definitely have a great head coach, but let's see if they can put it all together, man. Just let me know. Tone out.